The sun had long set, and darkness claimed the vast expanse of the ocean. I stood alone on the deck of the boat, the eerie silence broken only by the sound of waves crashing against the hull. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat a reminder of the mounting fear within me. It was a nightmarish scene, a night I will never forget. We were a group of friends, seeking adventure and escape from the monotonous routine of our lives. The idea of a weekend getaway on a secluded island seemed perfect. Little did we know that this would turn into a harrowing experience, something straight out of a horror story. As the boat sailed deeper into the darkness, a sense of unease settled upon us. The air was heavy, as if filled with an otherworldly presence. Uneasy whispers and nervous glances were exchanged among us, but we tried to dismiss our growing apprehension as mere paranoia. The captain, a weathered old sailor, seemed oblivious to our mounting unease. He navigated the boat with a confidence that bordered on arrogance. We trusted him, or at least we had no other choice. Little did we know that his arrogance would be our downfall. The first sign of trouble came with a sudden change in the weather. The calm sea turned turbulent, as if the very elements were conspiring against us. Dark clouds loomed overhead, blocking out the moon and stars, shrouding us in an impenetrable darkness. The wind howled with an unnatural ferocity, as if wailing in despair. The boat began to rock violently, tossed about by the angry waves. Panic spread among us like wildfire, our fear fueling each other's hysteria. We clung to anything that offered stability, desperately praying for the storm to pass. But our prayers fell upon deaf ears. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream tore through the night, chilling us to the core. We turned to see one of our friends, Sarah, staring out into the darkness, her eyes wide with terror. She pointed a trembling finger towards the water. "What is that?" she cried. "Something's in the water." We strained our eyes, trying to see what had terrified her so. And then, we saw it, emerging from the depths, a grotesque creature with tentacle-like appendages and glowing red eyes. It was unlike anything we had ever seen, a nightmare-given form. The creature lunged at the boat, its slimy appendages thrashing against the hull. We screamed in terror, scrambling to find any means of defense. But the creature was relentless, its strength seemingly inexhaustible. It tore through the boat's defenses, shredding the wooden planks as if they were mere paper. One by one, our group was taken by the abomination. Their screams echoed in my ears, haunting me to this day. I fought desperately to stay alive, clinging to the wreckage of the boat as the creature's tentacles closed in on me. I could feel its slimy touch inching closer, its icy grip tightening around me. Just when all hope seemed lost, a blinding light pierced the darkness. It was a rescue boat, sent by some miracle to our aid. The creature vanished back into the depths, retreating from the approaching light. I was saved, but the horror of that night would forever haunt me. To this day, I cannot forget the sound of the waves crashing against the hull, a haunting reminder of the terror I endured. The ocean, once a symbol of beauty and freedom, has become a source of dread. I still hear the screams of my friends in my nightmares, their faces etched into my mind. I survived that night, but I am forever scarred by the events that unfolded on that cursed boat. I've tried to move on, to find solace in the safety of land, but the memories cling to me like a shadow. The ocean, once a symbol of beauty and freedom, has become a source of dread. In the aftermath, authorities were baffled by our accounts of the creature that attacked us. They dismissed it as a figment of our collective imagination, a result of the storm's fury combined with fear-induced hallucinations. But I know what I saw, what we all, haunted by the nightmarish ordeal, I delved into the dark realms of folklore and ancient maritime legends, desperately seeking answers. It was during my research that I stumbled upon a tale that sent chills down my spine. A creature, said to be the guardian of the deep, a vengeful being that sought to punish those who dared to trespass upon its domain. According to the legend, the creature was born from the anguish and despair of lost souls, forever trapped between the world of the living and the dead. It was said to emerge during storms, drawing power from the chaos and torment of the ocean's fury. I couldn't help but wonder if we had unknowingly stumbled upon its hunting ground, if the captain's arrogance had led us straight into its path. Perhaps it was drawn to our vessel, sensing our vulnerability, our fear. We were easy prey, caught in its merciless grip. Years have passed since that fateful night, and I have since abandoned any thoughts of venturing out to sea. The ocean, once my source of joy and wonder, has transformed into a watery grave of nightmares. I live in constant fear, haunted by the lingering presence of that creature. Sometimes, on stormy nights, when the wind howls and the waves crash against the shore, I can almost hear its distant cries. It's a chilling reminder that some horrors exist beyond the realm of human comprehension, lurking in the depths of the unknown. So, if you ever find yourself out at sea, remember my story. Beware the arrogance that blinds us to the ancient forces that lie in wait. The ocean, vast and unforgiving, conceals secrets that can only be whispered in the darkest corners of our imagination. And in its depths, a creature of despair patiently waits for its next victim. As the sun began to set over the horizon, casting an eerie orange glow across the tranquil waters, I found myself aboard a small boat, sailing alone in the vast expanse of the open sea. The rhythmic sound of the waves crashing against the hull filled the air, creating an unsettling ambience. Little did I know that this voyage would be etched into my memory forever as a nightmarish tale of horror and survival. I had embarked on this journey seeking solace and escape from the chaos of everyday life. The tranquility of the ocean was meant to be a balm for my troubled mind. However, as darkness descended, an ominous sense of dread overcame me. The once calm waters now seemed to churn with an unsettling energy, and an icy wind cut through the air, sending shivers down my spine. It was then that I noticed a faint flickering light in the distance. Curiosity piqued, I steered my boat towards it, hoping to find some sign of life or perhaps a nearby harbor. As I drew closer, the light revealed itself to be a lighthouse perched upon a desolate, rocky island. It stood as a solitary sentinel, its beam cutting through the darkness with an almost desperate urgency. Navigating closer to the island, a sense of foreboding engulfed me. The once gentle waves had transformed into tumultuous swells that battered against the boat's hull, threatening to overturn it at any moment. Still, my curiosity pushed me forward, and I anchored the boat near the island's shore, determined to uncover the secrets it held. Stepping onto the desolate land, I found myself surrounded by an eerie silence that echoed in the depths of my soul. The air was thick with an otherworldly presence, and the lighthouse loomed overhead like a beacon of darkness. With each step I took towards it, my heart pounded in my chest, its rhythm echoing the thudding of my footsteps. As I approached the lighthouse's entrance, a chilling wind howled through the narrow corridor, whispering unsettling secrets into my ear. Ignoring the rising sense of unease, I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside, my flashlight casting long, quivering shadows on the walls. The interior was a haunting sight. Cobwebs adorned every corner, and a layer of dust coated every surface. The air smelled musty and stale, as if the lighthouse had been abandoned for centuries. But that couldn't be true. The flickering light I had seen from afar was proof that someone was here. Suddenly, a distant sound pierced the silence, a low, guttural growl reverberating through the walls. Panic surged within me as I frantically searched for the source. The growls grew louder, echoing through the corridors, and I followed them deeper into the labyrinthine structure. I stumbled upon a small room at the heart of the lighthouse. Inside, a scene of horror unfolded before my eyes. A haggard figure, clad in tattered clothing, crouched over a pile of bones. Its matted hair and wild eyes spoke of madness, and its mouth dripped with blood. The realization hit me like a thunderbolt. I had stumbled upon a deranged cannibal living within the confines of this isolated lighthouse. Fear gripped my entire being, but I knew I had to escape. I turned to flee, but the door slammed shut, trapping me in this hellish chamber. Panic consumed me as I desperately searched for another exit, but the walls seemed to close in, suffocating me with their malevolent presence. In the midst of my despair, a realization struck me: I had become the prey in this macabre game. The cannibal stalked me with silent footsteps, its eyes gleaming with sadistic pleasure. I could feel its hot breath on the back of my neck, its proximity a constant reminder of the imminent danger I was in. Every corner I turned, every door I tried to open, led me further into a labyrinth of terror. The once familiar corridors of the lighthouse now seemed to shift and twist, disorienting me with their maddening architecture. It was as if the very structure of the building conspired against me, trapping me in its nightmarish grip. As I stumbled through the dimly lit passages, my heart pounding in my chest, I caught glimpses of the cannibal's grotesque silhouette darting in and out of the shadows. Its unnerving laughter echoed through the air, fueling my terror and pushing me to the brink of madness. Time lost all meaning as the minutes bled into hours, and my desperate struggle for survival seemed futile. But just as despair threatened to consume me completely, a glimmer of hope emerged, a faint beam of moonlight shining through a crack in the decaying wall. It was my only chance at escape. Summoning every ounce of courage left within me, I raced towards the light, my pulse pounding in my ears. The cannibal's manic laughter echoed behind me, growing louder with each step. With one final leap of faith, I hurled myself through the crack, tearing my clothes and leaving trails of blood in my wake. I emerged onto a narrow ledge, perched precariously above the treacherous cliffs that surrounded the island. The wind whipped at my face, threatening to pull me into the abyss below. But the terror that pursued me was far more menacing than the elements themselves. Gathering every ounce of strength, I inched my way along the ledge, the sound of the cannibal's snarls reverberating in my ears. Sweat mingled with tears as I fought against the gusts of wind, my fingers gripping desperately onto the rough stone for dear life. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I reached the safety of solid ground. Gasping for breath, I turned to look back at the lighthouse, a haunting silhouette against the moonlit sky. The cannibal, enraged by its lost prey, pounded on the glass windows, its eyes burning with unquenchable hunger. I stumbled away from the edge, my mind haunted by the horrors I had witnessed within the walls of that forsaken place. The night had forever etched its mark upon my soul, leaving me scarred and changed. To this day, the sound of crashing waves and the flickering light of a lighthouse fill me with a bone-chilling unease. The memories of that harrowing night serve as a constant reminder that some horrors are not meant to be discovered, and some secrets are better left buried in the depths of the sea. I still remember the day I went to the beach with my friends. We were all excited and looking forward to having a fun time. The sun was shining brightly, and the waves were crashing against the shore. It was a perfect day for a beach trip. We set up our chairs and umbrellas and started playing some beach games. We swam in the ocean and built sand castles. As the day wore on, the beach started to empty out and it was just us left. That's when I first noticed something strange. I saw movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned to look, there was nothing there. I shrugged it off, thinking it was just my imagination. As the sun started to set, we decided to have a bonfire on the beach. We all gathered around and started roasting marshmallows. That's when I heard a noise coming from the bushes. It sounded like footsteps. I got up and walked towards the bushes, trying to see who or what was making the noise. Suddenly, a hand reached out and grabbed me. I screamed and tried to pull away, but the grip was too strong. I could see the person's face now and it was twisted with rage. I struggled to get away, but it was no use. The person dragged me towards the ocean. I was terrified and didn't know what to do. I tried to scream, but the sound was muffled by the person's hand over my mouth. As we got closer to the water, I saw something that made my blood run cold. There were other people in the water, but they weren't swimming. They were floating face down, their bodies limp and lifeless. The person holding me started to drag me towards the water, but I fought back with all my strength. I managed to break free and ran towards my friends. We quickly packed up and left the beach, never looking back. I still have nightmares about that day and the horror I experienced on the beach. I'll never forget the feeling of terror as I was dragged towards the water, not knowing what was going to happen to me. It was a nightmare come to life, and I hope no one else ever has to experience it.